Okay, perfect. Okay, we're gonna try this again. Okay. So basically, who has never done a CMA? Let's start off there. Okay. See, there's always someone, right? Okay, so when you do a CMA, I want to know what are you guys trying to do?
Comparison. What is pending?
Okay. Yeah. Okay, good. So I'm going to show you, like I said, the way that I kind of go about it, and like I said, everyone does them differently. So let's just say, for instance, because you're going to have some that are super easy because it's a tract home, they're similar sales, so it's super easy to do, right? And then you're going to have others that are in areas, maybe it's rural, maybe it's a duplex, triplex, there's different things. So you just really have to pay attention to certain details in order to fine tune what you're looking for. So does anyone have a property in mind that they want to do, or I'll just make one up?
534 is Park Avenue.
Park Avenue?
Yeah, Ontario.
So depending upon what your purpose of the CMA is, meaning, are you just sending it out to a homeowner without speaking to them, or have you spoken to them and they've talked to you about their property? So it's always important that if you have spoken to the homeowner and, they're saying, I'm thinking about selling, but I have no idea, kind of what it's worth. Zillow says it's worth, X amount, because that's what they say, right? But I'm just curious, what's the true price of this property? So, as a professional, there's a lot of things that go into what the true market value is of a property. So if they tell you, obviously you're going to pull up tax records. That's going to be the number one thing to do, the first thing to do. And let's say we'll pull it up here. So we'll go into the realist tax to see what. So 534, let's see, Park. And she said east. So we'll click on this one. And basically it's a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. And it's 820 square feet. This is per title, 6180 lot size, and built in 1920. And
They rebuilt the property, they said, back in 2017.
okay. Has it changed here or no? So it's residential on commercial?
Yes,
Okay.
it hasn't changed on title.
Okay. So I don't see anything. Yeah, let me see where it is. So you want to verify, with your client, what you find on the realist tax, because a lot of times they'll say, no, it's actually a 4-bedroom, but it was never fixed, or we actually did this, or there's a pool now, there wasn't there, or there's now an ADU in the back, or we've converted our garage, or whatever the case is. So you definitely need, to know those facts as well. So what you would do is, let me move this, is go back here to the matrix and search for like properties. So like I said, everybody does things differently. I myself, what I look for is, like I mentioned, I'll go back. I get the 2-bedroom, 1 bath, the square footage, the lot size, the year built, and I'm going to take the zip code.
Because the realistic metric?
The realist tax. Yeah, the tax. So this here, I always take the zip code, and the purpose of that is you have to remember that sometimes when agents input data into the MLS, they don't put the correct city. If it's like, for instance, Schuylkill Valley, they might put Riverside. You know, there's certain things, that's, you know, the first one that comes to my head, but there's other cities as well. There's agents from out of the area who will put out of area. They don't put in the actual city or the actual code of the city. So that's the purpose that I use the zip code for that reason. So I'm gonna go here and search. So I'm gonna look, I'm actually gonna do 2 searches because this one is listed residential commercial. So when it's something like that, even on a duplex or a triplex or, you know, something other than a residential property, you'll wanna search residential and residential income. And the purpose of is because every agent inputs stuff differently. So some comps you'll find in residential, and then some you'll find in, you know, in the other, in residential income. Even on manufactured homes as well, you'll see where they put it as an SFR, and then sometimes they list it as a manufactured. So it is a little bit more work when the property is not just a regular SFR. You know, there's a little bit more work behind it, because I'll have agents ask me, how did you come up with those comps? When they bring me something they want me to look at, mine varies from theirs. So here I'll go into detail, and I will check everything because I just want to see kind of what's going on. Now, right now, because of what's happening, of course, you know, you don't want to really compare 180 days back, although an appraiser is going to, you know, they'll go back 6 months, but our market is shifting. Our buyers are being a lot more conservative. Things are really changing right now. So in my opinion, I wouldn't go back more than 45 to 60 days at the most. Right now, that's what I want to see. But I'll leave that on there, but I'm just letting you know, I'm going to focus on the newest stuff that's happening, not the ones that were happening in February and March. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do that. Now, again, depending over here where it says sub property type, you can put whatever it is, but I like to be as basic as possible because I like to eliminate whatever I want to eliminate. Again, remember, every agent inputs everything differently in the MLS. So I don't want to exclude something if that was the case. So I'll put the zip code 91761. And basically I'm going to see how many I have, which I have 366 matches. So then I'll go, since it's a smaller home, I'll go 2-bedroom, 1 bath, because that's really what I need to compare to. So now I'm down to 11 matches. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do is I will go to the map. And based on where this property is located, which it was off of State and Campus. So I'm going to look to see where that is. So here's Campus. So let's see. So here's, you guys, here's Campus, right? And here's State. So this is where it meets. And this is basically in the area that it is. So what I will do is I will draw myself a radius. I'm going to start where it is, and I'm going to come out a mile. If I need to. I probably don't, because I don't see really anything else. So I'll stop there. And then I'll go to my results. So what I'm going to take a look is I'm going to verify if these properties are also zoned the same as that other property. So you can do that by checking the realist tax on each of them if you wanted to, and seeing what, you know, what they're also zoned as. And it is residential and commercial. And it should be, because they're all in the same spot per se. Okay. So these properties, if you notice, this one is residential and commercial. This one's a 3-bedroom, 1 bath. It's slightly larger, but in the same vicinity, and it's under contract at $579. So let's take a look at, there's another one on East Park Street. So I'll just take a look at that one, see if that one is also, this one is considered a single family residence. Okay, that's what it is. It's not even multi-use, nothing. It's single family residence is what it's, and this one is closed at $395. And if you can tell for that reason, because it's a single family, but if you notice, the first one also says single family, but it truly is not. There's mixed use there. So what I would do, like I said, is go into each one and verify what in fact the uses are. So that way you can see, you want to compare apples to apples, as they say. So this particular one is also single family. So that one wouldn't count. So let's go here. It looks like a lot of them are single family because of the price. Yep, say single family.
Is your property right on state?
Okay. No, it's on Park.
Oh, okay. State, yeah, federal to the-
So this one's also residential. So California Street is also. So this would be a comp. This one would be a comp. And let's see. This is just single family. And then one left. So let's see. Hopefully this is another one. No, single family. So here on this particular search, when you do it this way, you have two. So you have California Street, which is in escrow for $579. And then you have another one on California Street, which is sold, 3-bedroom, 1 bath, 1,040 square feet for $532. So what I typically do is, I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with CloudCMA, but I use CloudCMA. I love CloudCMA. It is part of your MLS. So it's a fee that you pay for already. And that's right here. Okay, so once you've selected the ones you want to use, you can go in here to CloudCMA. You're going to click that.
I'm sorry, Sonia, can I ask you a question? Can we ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you just recap really quick? Again, just as fast as you can, I guess. What made you choose those two? Just to make sure everything is it. What, out of the rest of them, you chose it because they were both residential and commercial?
Yes.
That was it?
That and because they're around the same size, there's similarity in the size and location and everything else fits. Zoning's important, especially when commercial, because you can do a lot more with commercial. If you can make money, there's an
more
invest,
value there.
there's more value. So if you notice, the SFRs were listed less.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
Yeah.
So a lot of times agents won't pay attention to the zoning. They'll just go in and circle everything and then this is a value, and it's truly not the value.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, but that's why I selected those. So if you noticed, I went in area first, remember, zoned in on the area. Then I looked for size, because if I would have just did area and then looked for all of those, there was 300 and something,
Yeah.
to look through for commercial, or residential, it's just way too many.
Yeah.
So doing that, it gives me these. Now, if I wanted more, then I would have to extend the search a little bit more, which you can do. Or like I said, you can go into the commercial aspect of it as well, and then look to see if there's anything else in there too. But depending upon what they're using it for, if they're living there, so it's probably more residential with the option of commercial, I guess you could say. So I would definitely stick with these comps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter the address of the property. And it should pull it up because it searches for it. And it should pull up from tax information on what it is here. And unfortunately, it only has residential or commercial, so it doesn't have like mixture. So you just have to select, unless you select here, sub property. So here we go, commercial, residential. And then what you can do is down here, it actually pulls in the two comps that you, or whatever amount of comps that you selected, it'll put them in there. The other option, which you can try on this particular property, I wouldn't do it. But let's say you want something quick, they have what's called the quick and dirty version, where you can just select that and it'll pull comps for you. But to be honest, I don't really care for that option because they don't really fine tune it as an agent would. But that's if you're in a super fast hurry, you just want something right away. So then you're going to select fetch listings there at the bottom. And this is going to show you where your property is located in conjunction to where the other comps are located. And then this down here allows you to, if you wanted to, you can adjust stuff. So this here, like, let's just say, for instance, this particular property has like maybe a huge garage that they build, an RV garage, or it has a pool, or it has something, that's unique about it. You can always add adjustments to these particular comps, so that way it'll adjust the price of why it's listed for that, or why, how an appraiser would do any adjustments. That's if the property is unique and you want to add that value. And then if you go in and you decide you want to look for other properties in the matrix, you can always add new listings here at the bottom. If you get other additional MLSs, once you do, let's say you want to go back in further and do more of a search, you can do that there. The next thing, basically, once you're okay with your comps that you have here, you can select publish. And I'll go in after we do this, and I'll show you guys, if you don't have your CloudCMA set up, how to set it up so that way it's set up. And so what you're going to do here is, if you notice, it says your CMA is ready. So look here, you have the choice of viewing it as a PDF or viewing it as live. So PDF, obviously, it's good to always print when you're going to an appointment. You can select the pages you want to print. You don't have to print everything. The live view, for me, I think it's really neat when you show up to your client's house. So if I select view and you have it ready on your iPad or your computer, whichever you're showing up with, because this is what it looks like. And it just shows, it's just an awesome presentation. It really, really is. So here is your comparables. So if you select your comparables, it gives them all side by side. So this is the property in question. So you can see, how it tells you this one has an additional bedroom, this one has an additional bedroom, how much larger each one of them is, the lot size, how much larger each one of them is. And like I said, it's just a side-by-side comparison. So that way they can see, it at a glance, at once. The other nice thing is let's just say this one happened to be a model match, because that happens. And they say, oh, well, that one sold for $532, but my house, I know that house, and my house is so much nicer. So all you have to do is click on it. It's all interactive, and you can see what it truly looked like inside. So they can take a look, and, so by selecting the photo, and they can see, oh yeah, it did have upgraded flooring. It looks like they painted it, whatever it is that they did. And you can just keep taking a look and showing them, all the upgrades in comparison, to their property. It also gives, the description, how it was written, the original list price, how much it sold for, and when it was listed and when it sold. So, and then obviously the days on the market, 16 days. The nice thing about it too is, if you notice, there's a pin down here. So if you're talking to them, you can tell them, look, this square footage was larger, so you're doing a full presentation. And as soon as you mark X, it takes it away. Okay, so whatever you marked on it. So then if you get out of there, then this is my favorite part. My favorite part is the average pricing. This is like the most important slide for me, because they can tell me whatever they want to tell me, but I always look at average pricing. So obviously there's not much to compare here. We could do a totally different one, so I can show it to you. Ooh, it's not charging. This is why. Sorry, guys.
agents for the one that's under contract. And half of the time, they don't even want to tell me what it's under contract for.
Yeah, a lot of times they won't tell you. Oh man, what's going on here? Sorry guys, I can't. This cannot die. A lot of times they won't tell you why. This is why you don't let your children use your devices. They don't. Oh, this is not the right charger. But hold on, this might work. Oh, wait, no, I lied. It won't work. Ah! It's a different. Yeah, I have that charger on my desk. Okay. Why doesn't this one doesn't want to work for some reason?
You need everything?
Yeah, just in case. Sorry. Oh, wow. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Word to the wise, keep your devices charged. It'll last all day. It pretty much does. But the average pricing for me is, when I see this, is typically where I like to stay. I do not want to list above the average price. I don't, unless the home is way above average. So, and meaning where you walk in and you're like, wow, this is, super nice. And, it's nice. Then obviously you can, gauge it at that point. But for the most part, I'll list it at or below that average price. So on this particular home, I would probably say, because there's only one to compare it to. I mean, I have to go in to do the search, but let's just say the average, there was 5 and the average is 532. Then I would probably shoot for 529. That's probably where I would start. Unless the home needs a lot of work. So now it's not average anymore, is it? The house is an average. So that's how you can remember average price is an average home with, average, necessities. It's been lived in and everything else. If it's above average, meaning they've just, they've done upgrades in the last, 3 to 5 years, and it shows more, it shows nice. There's not much someone has to do to come in. Then you can probably go a little bit higher, just dependent upon what they've done to it. But I find that listing it there is very fair, and I have yet to have a price reduction when I do it that way. So that's why I think it's super important to focus on that. You don't want to call your client to reduce the price. You don't. So does anyone have any questions so far on that?
So based on that one, it will be 529.
Mhm.
Because I got it, I'm gonna put it for 470.
Okay,
So can I go a little bit higher, maybe 500?
or go 499.
499?
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I don't know what it looks like, but
It look nice. They're painted inside.
okay. Yeah, obviously you always want to go, if you want to go less, that's great. It's just a lot of times they're want more,
Going back to that button, the adjustments, I'm sorry, I should have asked you at that time, but the one that said, the one that you showed me,
Yeah.
you could adjust it. Do you use that often? Is that something where?
The only time I use it is if I'm comparing a home that maybe had a pool, doesn't have a pool. They're like, where it's a major difference, where an appraiser's gonna say there's a difference. Maybe bedroom count, maybe bathroom count, something like that. Only because I'm trying to show my client, yes, your home, it kind of looks like that, but this one had another bedroom. This one had another. So like I said, the whole purpose of the CMA is so you don't have appraisal issues, because we were in a market where people didn't care about appraisals, but that's not typical market. So our market now is appraisals are there.
So what will that do? If you put a pool, it'll just list it on the side?
No, you have to put a pool, and then you have to put the manually, you have to input a price that you believe. So basically it's just kind of standard, you know, an extra bathroom is about $6,000, an extra bedroom is about 10,000, you know, a pool's about 15, and that's just standard. You know, every appraiser has different numbers, so it's not going to be 100% exact, but it's going to give you more or less, you know, an idea of where you're at.
So that's even if they're not permitted, you can add those adjustments in. It's just if you have a problem.
No, if it's not permitted, it wouldn't be counted. Yeah. Yeah, if they say, well, I have a 4-bedroom, but one of them is in the garage, that's not a bedroom.
Right.
So, and like I said, just so if you are presenting at the bottom down here, you notice it takes you into everything. So average square, you know, average price per square foot, and everything, like I mentioned, is interactive. So you can click on everything. If you have to go back, average days on the market, you know, and what, you know, is it now the time to sell? And then online evaluations, which this shows here, Zestimates varied. So if you look, the averages of the Zestimates here are 806,000. You see the difference? And then active under contract, this one's 579, but the Zestimate was 549. So why this is like this, I have no clue. We don't really know how they come up with their values, but these are things that you can take off. You don't have to leave on. You can remove any page that you don't want, but this is your marketing action plan. And this is just, so now after you went over the CMA with them, this just kind of helps you get into the conversation now of, this is basically what we're going to do. This is just a sample. You can go in there and make adjustments to it, to whatever it is that you're going to do to market their property. Okay. And then the next one, if you want to keep this slide, some people do, some people don't. This talks about commission. And then the next slide talks about intelligent pricing and timing. You know, why it's important to price the home right from the first time. And listing paperwork, if you want to speak to them about, you know, what the listing paperwork looks like. You can upload your own PDFs also to this, in which I have this seller roadmap that I uploaded. So it kind of talks to them about what the steps are when they do decide to, you know, sell the home. I have a seller's action plan in here that I give them, and we go by room, talking about what they loved about the house, what they've upgraded, and it just gives me information about why they love their home, you know, or why they don't love their home. And then you can put a suggested listed price in here. You can edit it with this here. And you can tell them, you know, I suggest you list it for this price. So this is all completed before you go. So just so you guys know that. And then you can upload your resume, which I highly recommend uploading your resume so people know who it is that they're working with. And this was actually made in Canva. So very easy to do. But this is, I think, super important. And then again, this is the homepage of it. And like I mentioned, you can take away any of these pages. On the left here where the Remax balloon is, here is where you would go in to remove stuff if you didn't want it here. Okay. And then you can do, right, if you notice at the bottom, you can start a virtual meeting. So you could Zoom also. So like, let's say you don't go to their house, you can do it, you know, that way, or you could do it how I'm doing it too. So it's either way.
You said where you can make the changes in the seller's action plan?
In anything on here.
Okay.
Yeah, so you go to the customize. Yeah, and if I didn't, because see, they have an agent resume on there. I don't use theirs. I use my own. But if I wanted to use theirs, then I would just, you know, take off the eyeball thing or whatever. And then it says right here, agent resume. So if I click on it, it's just written. So I don't like that. So again, it's just really up to you on what you want to do. And
When do you recommend new agents put theirs in? Because right now we don't have any.
I would still put in to just kind of maybe, if you're on a team, kind of use your team, you know, information. But if you're not, you're solo and you know, only done it for so long, I think it's important for them to know your background, you know, what you've done before and what led you into it or what have you. So, but that's that. And then typically, like I mentioned, what I do is what I love about the view, the live view, I'm gonna take you back here to my main page. So what I like is when you email that live view, you can email it, the link, or you can text it so they can, see it on their phone. But the nice thing that happens is when they do that, if you notice, look at how it says right here, how many times they viewed it. Do you see that? So it tells you that they're going in there and they're revisiting it. Yeah.
They wanna listen, they wanna
Yeah,
listen.
they keep, so I don't know about you guys, but we're actually, we have a thing we're starting tomorrow. We're doing a CMA a day. So, and I'm showing the agents how to send out the CMA every day, to different people. And I want them to we're focusing on where the views are, to do follow-up in different, we have a different marketing plan in place. So, I want to show them the importance of being able to track, because you can send a PDF. You have no idea if they got it. You don't know anything. I mean, it's not a bad idea to still send it, but also send this, there's that way you're measuring, what's really happening.
I like the live view because I remember I was doing the PDF until you told me about the live view. And I love it because I used to do it on Zoom. So we were looking at the same pictures.
Yeah.
And they have their own aha moment because everybody thinks their house is like the best, right? And then they see the pictures next to their house and they got all the bells and whistles. They're like, oh.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you don't have to say anything.
Right. It's so true. Because when you show up with, this is the other comparative analysis you could show up with, right?
Mhm.
And there's different ones. This is the Remax one. So that's why it's red and blue, but there's different ones. You can decide which style you want. If you had a picture of the house, you could put that here instead of the map of where it's located. And basically it's branded to you on however you want to, upload. And then it has a letter if you want to, include this. Again, it's important to make sure it matches what happened, or what's really going on, because otherwise it's not going to make any sense. But again, every page has your information. And then here is this one has everything because I didn't take anything out. But the ones that I truly print every time I go, I don't print any of this stuff. All I print, not even that one, all I print is this. This is what I take to them, this map, so they could see where the home is compared to their others. Because they might say, well, there was one that sold, blah, 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 but that is not a comparable, and you need to be ready to tell them why. So here we are. It shows, sold and backup offers are active under contract, which it gives them the menu here of what it is. So I'll print that page. I'll print the summary so they can see the summary. And then I will see, like, if you took them a piece of paper, this is what they're looking at. They're just looking at this. And then I don't know, most agents don't want to print all of this. It's a lot to print. It's probably, let me see. Let me go down here and see how many pages it is. It's a lot. Yeah. So it's 35 pages. So it's a lot of paper to print. And that's only 2 comps. So imagine if it was 5 comps. So that's what I'm saying. It's a lot to print. So I really don't print any of this stuff. It's just, to me, I don't print any of this stuff. I just print the meat and potatoes, as they say. So I'll print this, the comparables, to show them that, and then also the analysis to show them if people are getting more than what the value of the home, which obviously at this time they were, and how many days on the market, it sat. And that's basically all, because everything else I'm in there, we're in the presentation, we're going over everything, in the presentation.
So you give them about 4.
Yeah, it's about 4 or 5 pages. And then I'll include I do include a hard copy of my resume and then some marketing material. And that's basically all I leave them with.
Do you send them the link to the live view?
Yes.
Before your appointment?
I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
On that one, it's like we would go with 529 according to the average, but that one's a 532 more or less, the 33 bedrooms. The one we're comparing is a 2-bedroom.
Yeah.
Still go with the 529.
I would still go with the 529. Yeah. Just depending upon, like I said, how it looks. She's saying it's in good condition. but it just depends. But she's actually going lower, which I think is even better. Yeah. So there's that one. Does anyone else have any other properties that they want to look at, or? Yes.
How can I do add special features to my listing, and how can I do add my own features of my listing with the CMA report? How can I do that?
It's not in the MLS?
No, I just want to make to create the CMA, but I want to add special features to the report and also features.
Okay,
How
so,
can I do that?
okay, so well, my question is your property in the MLS?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Because it's necessary to present or to give to the seller the CMA
Yes,
before.
okay,
we do the
okay,
listing.
right. So you're telling me that the listing that you're presenting to, you want to take photos from that listing?
From the house to submit or to send the report to another people. It's necessary, or for me, it's important to add the special features like a pool or something like this, or a converted garage, something like this, that there is no in the assessor's
Oh, so I
information.
think he's trying. to
How can I
like
do add my own features of this
I'm kind of
report?
not understanding.
So you
Okay,
want to add adjustments to your property, correct?
Yes, I'm going to put everything in the MLS, but first I need to create the CMA.
right.
Okay, and I need to give everything to my client and to another clients or prospects. My point
Okay,
is,
but you're gonna,
how can I do
Judge,
add in this?
I see. Okay, well, once you're giving it to your prospects, well, if it's in the MLS already, then you would be able to do it. Otherwise, the only thing that, I mean, because typically, what they do is, obviously the seller knows what their home has. So I don't think that they have where you can add so many. They do have this area down here. See, this is the cover photo would be the front
Yes,
photo
that's-
only. But there is advanced information, but it doesn't give you that much. I mean, obviously that's not going to show you pictures or anything like that. The only thing you wouldn't be able to do the live view, unless it was in the MLS. Now, if it's not in the MLS, if you want to do a PDF, the only other thing you would be able to do is download this as a PDF. So I'm going to export it. This is, I mean, this, if I'm understanding you right, so let me just see if I am or not. You tell me if I am or not. So I'll put save CMA Park. And then you have to have some type of, PDF program to upload your PDF to. So here, this is in PDF Expert. Hold on a minute. Let me go out and go back in. It's not. So if I'm here in PDF Expert, this has everything that is in my thing. So the only thing I would probably do here is add a page. I know this is totally going off subject, but I think I'm hoping I'm answering his question. So if I add a page here about subject property, then I can probably put, subject property, yeah. And then you can just add the pictures. By going here to image, and then let's just say this is a picture of the backyard. Then you can just add, the different pictures and maybe display it. And now it's part of your CMA. If you wanted to do something, is that what you mean? Or I'm not sure I understand 100%.
No,
So like
that's my point. That's my point.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be able to be live, like the link, you can't do that, because it's the link is for your homeowner. You're presenting to your homeowner to list. So, but if you want to provide a CMA to prospects, like you're saying, before it's in the MLS, then this would be the best way. Now, if you're not trying to do that, the other option, let's say your house is already in the MLS, okay, but now you're doing an open house for the property. There is another option. So if you go here, if you notice at the top, you can, with CloudCMA, you can do a CMA, and you can do property. So if you select property and your property's in the MLS already, so someone give me a property in the MLS. Anybody?
Oh, 871 Spruce Lane.
So Big Bear,
The other one.
this one?
Yeah.
Okay, so here we are. Let's just say I now listed this home and I want to be able to share this information. So verify everything looks good, right? So you can customize if you want, meaning you can add whatever you want on here. There's so many different things you can add. So you can select publish, and this is something you can print out and you can have to give to your potential, like you're saying, potential clients that come in. And so you print this, and then this is a property report on this house. Okay.
That's the one.
And this has all your contact information. This QR code is so they can download the report too. So like, let's just say you have one copy only and you tell them, if you take a picture of this, it'll email you this report. Or not email, but it'll show up at the report.
It would be nice if they had the information.
Yeah.
Oh, you like this house?
Yeah.
the barcode.
So this basically goes over everything about the property. See, here's all the pictures of the property, everything you input. This is transferred from the MLS. Okay, so this listing agent is the bomb. You can tell. Look at all her pictures.
Actually, that's the one before mine. But it's still the Bronx.
Yeah. And then it goes over, the schools and area restaurants, what is it? Gabby's Latin Flavors. Woo! And then you can include your ratings and reviews. See, and so now they know who it is that they're working with as well. You can include that in there. That can be transferred over. So this is a property report. So you can, like you're saying, if you want to do that, you can also add comparables if you want to. So that way you can show them, why your home is listed at this price. And there's I'm telling you, this thing will blow your mind. So there's also, you could do the flyer too. Like if you want to just make a flyer really quick and, as long as you have the MLS or the street address, what was it, street again?
534.
The what,
Which one?
that was it in the MLS?
It's not in the-
Okay. What's yours, Eva, again?
Sorry.
What?
871 Spruce Lane.
She's like, really, it's still the bomb.
It's the CD, yeah, that one.
Oh, shoot. So this is just to show you how simple and fast, if you need a flyer real quick on the fly, this is it. And again, you can customize it to include whatever you want and don't want. So. And then if you notice right here on each option, it does have where you can set up alerts. So basically what that means is it will let you know if there's any activity around the property. So that way, let's say you set up your listing appointment for Saturday, but you did this on Monday and you already have your CMA done, right? You should, right? Well, it'll let you know, hey, there's a new listing that just came up. So now you have to update your, yeah. So here's the PDF. This is your flyer and this is what it is. Like, it's just super simple. And it just, again, it has the QR code. to give you the full property report. So that property report that I just showed you, here's a QR code. If you scan it, it'll take them right to that property report. Now, if you notice, you do not have to be the listing agent to customize it, because obviously I'm not the listing agent here. So anytime you do an open house, you know, you can use these. Okay. The last one is there's a buyer tour on here, which right now, you know, obviously you guys want to work with more buyers, right? Before it was, no, I want sellers. Now I want buyers, you know? So kind of the same thing. So all you do is once you figure out which properties that you want to show your client, you go in here and you write the MLS numbers. So you would find whatever MLS numbers they are. Oops, let me go back here. Let me go back to an old one so here's this one. This one's a PDF of 8 properties. So it shows you, again, you can send it to them and it shows them where the properties are. They're numbered. Of course, you can always put them in order of what area you're going to. And these are good for, especially for clients that are like cold leads, like someone you've never met, because I think it's the presentation. I mean, you can give it to anyone, but more than anything, it's something I'm sure they've never seen before. So it shows, obviously these are sold. Well, there's a couple, I guess, still active, but here it shows they should all be active, right? But it gives them information about the house, the pictures. Let's see this one. This so. Oh, wow.
So this is basically like if you're gonna go show properties.
Yeah, this is
to your buyer.
exactly. So I'm gonna go down. So this shows you all, but it also shows them, what's nice is the schools in the area. All the, like again, the restaurants and their Yelp reviews on the side. Property details, like I said, of each property. I mean, this one could probably go on for days. You probably just want to send it as a PDF. And, yeah, let me see if anything's at the bottom. I think that's it. Yeah. So it just goes over. So each home has their own, whatever school is attached to them and whatever eating is attached. But like I said, when you go to customize, you can change what you want shown. So it doesn't have to be so much, but this is actually, you know, something nice to hand to your buyer to show them, you know, what it is that you're doing. So, like I said, there's a lot of different things you can do. You just have to go in there and mess with it. So how many of you right now are using CloudCMA? CloudCMA. Okay, so it's free, okay? And I love free stuff. And so if you go into your CloudCMA, which this is your dashboard, right? When you log into the MLS. So here's CloudCMA. So your homework is to go into CloudCMA and create your profile. You can attach your links. So this is what it's going to look like, but yours will be blank if you haven't used it. If you notice over here is my picture in the right corner. This is where your account settings are. So you're going to go in there and fill in your information. You know, whatever your picture you want to use, your name, your email, your company logo. And then you go down again, contact info. How do you want to be contacted? You can add as many that apply that you want displayed on your page. And then you can add custom pages. This is where, like I showed you, I added my own custom pages. This is where you can add them. Okay, let's say you have printed client testimonials. You don't have, let's say you want to do your own company, you know, company information, cover letter, your listing paperwork overview, you know, what you can add whatever you want. Integrations, this here is dependent upon how you get your testimonials. So most of mine, they don't have the other areas that I do. So they don't have like Google or Yelp. So they only have Zillow. So I have mine attached in here. So that's why mine get displayed.
I'm sorry, you gotta pay or see, to get a testimony like in Google?
No,
Or,
no,
I know Zillow it's free, but Google?
it's not, you know, you don't pay.
Because I don't know why I haven't get emails, asking, I think it's $3.99 for a year.
No,
Yeah, I get that too.
Yeah.
no, I don't pay. I don't,
It says to verify your, it says.
oh, unless they change where they're,
verify your or something.
Something about-
I got my Google account a long time ago, so. You know, I've never heard of that, so maybe it's changed.
You just add your screen name for Zillow and then
Yes.
it'll bring it up on its own on your.
Yes,
account? Oh, okay.
yes,
I don't think I linked that.
yeah. Yes, and remember, it's free, it's free, and then, what else was I gonna say? There was something else right now when you said that, I remembered something, but I forgot. Now my brain went blank. But yeah, so that's definitely what you want to do, is get it set up right away. So that way you guys are ready to use the CMA. But does anyone have any questions about anything at all?
I have a question.
Okay.
Say if a customer says that, they give you information or address for the property, but then they say, well, when I bought the house, it was listed as 3 bedrooms. But now when you go into the actual report, it lists only 2 bedrooms. What happens then?
If it has a clause, if let's say the tax, she's asking if the tax record reflects different than the actual house, what's gonna happen is if the property has, like, if it's, you know, this is how I do it. If the property has a closet and it looks like it wasn't just added on like a piece, you know what I'm saying? It looks like, yeah, you know what? It could have been initially sometimes, because a lot of times, you know, builders aren't accurate when they file with the taxes either. A lot of times if they give options, you'll see, like, let's say you go into the same track and you're familiar with it and you're like, oh, this home is the one that didn't have a 3-car garage because they had the option of a room, or they wanted a den opposed to, you know, later on you closed it up. You know, there's different variations. But if it's within the house and they just added a wall and they made it into a room, you could actually count it as a bedroom because it's actually part of the square footage. Nothing changed. Yeah. I mean, that's what I would do, because typically the appraiser is going to go in there, measure square footage, count bedrooms. As long as it has a closet, they're counting it.
That's one of my points, because I do everything like the old way. I don't know how to use really the technology, but in my experience, and because I had several problems with appraisers, all the times they ask for at least 3 close deals and at least 3 current listings. And also more than 100 square feet living is too much. For example, in your case with the property on Park Street, more than 100 square feet living is
If that's,
$50,000,
yeah,
maybe more. And that's a big difference between your CMA and really the comps. That's one of my points. And by default is 180 days, 6 months. But under the current market,
right.
90 days is
Yeah.
180 is a lot of days
Mhm.
to get a comp. But 90 days is wow. And in another way, I prefer to use the circle or air radius around the property, because the zip code is really big.
Well, we did do that.
Huh?
We did do that.
Yes, we can do that.
No, I said we did do that. I did do that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, because the zip code is really big.
Well, no,
area.
the reason I do the zip code is I don't put in a city, is what I'm saying. I
Okay.
start with the zip code because each city pretty much has multiple zip codes.
Yes.
So if I put Ontario, it's gonna even give me 800 homes. So I put the zip code, and then depending on where it's located, we zone in on where the home is and go out. Yeah.
Anyway, it's really big. And you know, for example, here, we are in Ontario,
Yes,
and 1 block away.
Yes.
That's no 1 mile, it's less than that.
yeah, it's a half a
And we
mile.
are in Upland. And
Correct.
Yes, for me, it's better to use.
Well, you have to be, you have, no, and we did use that. Again, we did. It's just, again, to gain, you have to take out the, once you got your circle of where you're at, you can take out the zip code. But again, you don't want to go into Upland because it's a different city.
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
So by keeping the zip code, if I just went circle and now I don't realize I'm in another city, it's gonna give me another city. So, so like I said, everyone has their way of whatever works, you know, for them. For me, you know, again, I'm just sharing how I do it and how
No, no,
it's
thank you.
it's been, you know, it's pretty effective. But again, I do go in there and like this, you know, this property was a different property because it's commercial, so it's a little bit different. But for the most part, we do end up with 10, 15 comps, you know, and then we have to pick which ones, you know, are the best, you know, that are suited for that particular property. But yes, it absolutely makes sense. And just so you guys know, I mean, and every appraiser is different. You have, because I'll give you an example. I had a client, we were an escrow buyer. Appraisal came in 15,000 below asking. This was a couple years ago. This wasn't during this time. Came in 15,000 below. The seller said, I'm not selling. There's no way. And I knew there was comps, but when I looked at the appraisal, the appraiser used properties that were much further, when there was comps that were actually in that area, and they used distressed properties. So this home was actually a really nice, well-kept home that they lived in. So it didn't compare to this REO that sold, like, at all. So my client ended up, well, we went back to the lender and got them to redo another appraisal because it was conventional. We did another appraisal, and in a matter of 5 days, you know, difference from the day the appraiser went, this appraisal came in like 7,000 above asking price. So again, every appraiser is different on how they do stuff. Some are familiar with the area, some aren't. But what I have been told by most appraisers is age does not matter. Age does not matter. What matters is, because if a home is built in 1950, but it's completely renovated, you know, so they don't look at age per se. So don't try to match the age per se. It's more square footage and the use of the land.
Okay, what about the range as far as square footage and lot size?
Well, you want to be, like you said, as close as possible, but 150 probably for, you know, up or down is kind of, and that's why you average. Yeah. So if you have some that are 800 square feet and some are 12, but you're at 1,000, you're averaging.
Yeah.
That's your average. That's why I go with average, because you're picking the average.
You always do a mile this square.
Yeah, because they don't really want, I mean, if there's enough in that mile, sometimes you don't even have to go that far. Sometimes you just have to go a quarter of a mile. But when you do the like how he was saying, when you do the comps, so if I go here back to what I was looking at, if you notice here on the side, it shows you the distance.
Yeah.
So this here, I'm gonna try to find what's, I mean, obviously all these are good because they're all within a half a mile, so they're all good comps. But if you have one that's 1 mile and then you have one that's 0.2, well, obviously the 0.2 is more, you know, because it's in the neighborhood, it, you know, it has the same surroundings. So it's probably going to be used before the other one is. So, but yeah, so. Everybody second?
I always like this class because it refreshes my brain.
Yeah. Let's stop this. Okay, I hope it recorded. Hope.